Alrighty, can we please talk about UFC Kansas City? Took place at the weekend. This is the Burt Locker. I'm Burt Green. In a nutshell, this is an MMA show that has a light look at what's been going on in the world of MMA. I also do fight predictions, casuals, guides. It's all over on the channel, so if you could hit subscribe if that sounds good, that'd be much appreciated. We're going to start off by looking back at UFC Kansas City. It was a pretty good event. The biggest takeaways from it was that Robertson was absolutely dominant. Rodriguez, she kind of half tapped. It was right. She complained about it, saying that was like, you know, she lost her no losses record because she didn't tap. She did kind of tap, right? She kind of half tapped. Now what she was doing there, that's something that fighters do to try and get the other fighter to release the hold but not have the ref see it. She knows what she did. She can bitch and complain about her not tapping and until the cows come home. We all saw it. She literally went back and she kind of like lightly tapped the inside of her knee, and that's a crafty trick to try and get it so that, because some fighters will let go of a hold when they feel the tap, like its instinct takes over, they let go. A good fighter will wait until the referee pulls them off, which is what Robertson did, which is credit to her. But she knows what she did. That is a submission because she literally went to tap, but she can't have half tapped. You can't do that. As soon as you've tapped once, that's it. You're out. I believe when Chael Sonnen got submitted by Anderson Silva, he literally tapped the once and that was it. It doesn't have to be multiple taps. One tap, that's it. You're signaling that you don't want to be in that hold anymore, and you're signaling to your opponent to let go of the hold. Because if you start being crafty like that, I'll try and get them to release the hold without the referee seeing it. All of a sudden, if you start going down that road, it becomes unsafe because fighters are just going to hold submissions on until they know their opponent's dead, basically, if you want to start playing that game. So, yeah, Rodriguez can object all she wants, but she knows the game that she was playing. She did tap out. It was, and her arm was about to snap anyway. Let's be realistic. She wasn't getting out of that. There was just no way. And she did tap. That's it. Cummings versus Herman was an old school slugfest. I implore you to go back and watch it if you didn't catch it. But it was just brilliant. Look, are either guy, elite? Are they necessarily kind of, from a technical standpoint, are they good to watch? Probably not, but it was a fun slugfest of a fight. Bloody, they're both standing, trading. It was brilliant. It was very old school. I really enjoyed it. Cummings managed to get the win. He's the hometown hero from Kansas City. That's always lovely to see. The crowd were all behind him. And it was a double retirement as well. Both those guys getting on in life. And a double retirement, never seen that before ever, so it was just nice to see. And you know what else was nice? Dana White gave both of them a bonus, a substantial bonus, 50 grand each, I believe, because to wish them well in the future and that, to thank them for being part of the sport. And so because Dana White's a piece of crap that doesn't care about the fighters. Am I right? You know what I mean? He's because let's be fair, Zach Cummings and Ed Herman, let's be perfectly reasonable and say that they probably didn't contribute a huge amount to the pay-per-view buys, to t-shirt sales, to revenue, but they were part of the sport and they put on some good fights, and for that Dana White rewarded them. So people can harp on about how Dana White doesn't care about the fighters and blah blah. Look, if you put on good fights and he appreciates what you've done for the sport, he will 100% reward you, because they're not the only fighters that have been rewarded in that way. So look, basically stop harping on about how evil, uncaring Dana White is, because you see instances like this all the time. They're both retired in the octagon, both walked away with a bonus. Happy days. Algeo, he looked really good. Rear naked choke was just super tight, and he rallied from that first round. I hope he never fights Aljo, because it's going to be a nightmare for the commentating team, isn't it? Algeo and Aljo, it's just going to be a mess, frankly. So I don't ever want to see him fight for the bantamweight title whilst Aljamain Sterling holds it. Ion Cutelaba, man, I did say that in the first kind of 40 seconds of a fight, we can extend that to 2 minutes now, because he looked fantastic for 2 minutes. Yeah, scary for the first 40 seconds and up to 2 minutes now, it seems, because wow, he looked fantastic. And Tanner Boser looked in great shape, to be fair. Like, he's always looked pretty tubby at heavyweight, but man, like light heavyweight seems to agree with him. Look forward to seeing both of them again. Edson Barboza turned back the clock with a terrific knee, right to, like, what a knockout that was. And it just shows that when Barboza is on, he is on, man. He is very difficult to deal with. He's not done yet. He might have the biggest highlight reel in MMA. He's that good. He's so good. Holloway versus Allen, it was as advertised. It was a tough fight for both guys. It was, there was leather flying back and forth. Maybe Allen needed that extra aggression, like in the first few rounds, because he came out round 5 knowing he needed the finish, and he came out super aggressive, and that seemed to serve him really well. I'm wondering if he'd have brought that aggression in the earlier rounds, maybe a few more of the rounds would have gone his way. But either way, great performance from both guys. I look forward to seeing more of Arnold Allen. You did your country proud, mate. You really did. It was a great performance. You've got to remember that Max Holloway is the best guy in that division, not named Alexander Volkanovski. So look, hats off to you. It was a terrific, very competitive fight, and yeah, my hat tipped to both guys. Really, really good stuff. So that was UFC Kansas City in a nutshell. Just again, if you like this content, just hit subscribe for me. Be much appreciated. Don't think about it. Just hit the subscribe button. Costs you nothing. You don't even need to hit the bell notification. You won't even know I'm there, but it means the world to me. Means nothing to you, but it means the world to me. So just hit subscribe. Thank you. Right. So in the news, one thing that's really kind of that I've seen lately is people being entered into the Hall of Fame. That, look, with the greatest of respect, I think the Hall of Fame for MMA, for the UFC rather, should just be very, very difficult to get into. To be a Hall of Famer, you need to have changed the way people like think about the sport, really moved it forward. That's what a Hall of Famer is to me. With the greatest of respect, like Cowboy Cerrone, for me, fantastic fighter, loved him as a fighter. All the respect in the world to him, but I don't know if it was a Hall of Fame career. Do you know what I mean? I know that sounds like I'm being disrespectful. I'm trying not to be, but I feel like there has to be, there has to be requirements to get into the Hall of Fame. I don't know if he really met them, because I think you need to at least be an elite in the division and to have really changed the game in some respect. I don't know if Cowboy did that. He put on fantastic fights. He was very dangerous. He was very fun. I don't know if he changed the way people thought about the sport, though. I would also entertain, it's like, look, how is Cowboy Cerrone in the Hall of Fame, but Brock Lesnar is not in the Hall of Fame? Brock Lesnar should 100% be in the Hall of Fame, by the way, because he changed the way that people thought about the UFC, right? He brought so many fans over from the WWE, and he brought in that, this kind of pay-per-view kind of aura around him, like, because he was the first huge pay-per-view star, was Brock Lesnar. Make no mistake about that. He changed the way people thought about what to expect from MMA. He brought millions more eyeballs in. He really pushed it up to the next stage of what the UFC is. He really was a kind of pioneer in that respect. And he put a lot on the line. Won the heavyweight title, defended it twice, I believe, and because he was tied for most title defenses, because there aren't too many that defend that belt twice. So look, I think Brock Lesnar should be in the Hall of Fame. And I don't understand how you've got guys like Cowboy Cerrone in there, with the greatest of respect, but someone who did as much as Brock Lesnar in the short time he was there, how is he not in the Hall of Fame? That seems bizarre to me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe you think I'm out of my mind that a fake-ass wrestler should be in the Hall of Fame. Dan Severn's in the Hall of Fame. He was a fake-ass wrestler as well, wasn't he? Hey? Anyway, I digress. I'd also like to say that fans have every right to boo if a fight is not exciting, right? Because the comms team, I noticed Munez against Gutierrez, for example, but the crowd were booing because without the commentary, like some of these fights, like when they're a bit kind of tentative and technical, they're a little bit boring to watch from a live fan's perspective, because you don't have the commentary, you don't have like anyone explaining like what's going on. All you can see is what's in front of you. And if you've paid for entertainment, you have every right to boo something that is not entertaining you. And honestly, I do believe that, because yeah, I guarantee that, look, if every fight looked that boring from 5 rows, everyone watching the Gutierrez versus Munez fight, more than 5 rows away, probably couldn't really see what was like happening properly, and all you can see is two guys, but it looks fairly tentative from that perspective. And if also you haven't got the close-up camera angles, you haven't, like, you're looking up at the screen, you're trying to see what's going on, all you're knowing is that there isn't that much action. Now, it might be very good from a technical perspective, but from an entertainment perspective for the live fans, it might not be hitting the mark. And if that is the case, then the crowd has every right to boo. You bought your ticket, you bought your right to voice your opinion if something is not entertaining you. And that's all I'll say on that. And yeah, so I think that's more or less it for today, because I just realised I completely forgot to have a look at the Trolls of the Week, and I haven't prepared anything for that. So I'm going to get on anyway, because I need to quickly do my casuals guide for UFC Vegas 71, which is obviously headlined by Pavlovich and Curtis Blades. It should be a good one. So my casuals guides, basically, it's a fun, fast view through the entire fight card, every single fight. So go ahead and check that one out, because it's a decent fight card, actually. Really looking forward to that one. And yeah, until next time, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.